Alright, what's going on, everybody? So, I've recently started working on chapter 2 of Infinite Uppercut, trying to get it released, I don't know, sometime September or October. I'm not even quite sure at the moment, but I'm trying to get as much of it done ahead of time as humanly possible, at least get as many pages as I can done. But I've needed to do a couple of redesigns for certain characters, and I also needed to redo a couple of environments. I do the environments this way so that I can more or less cheat. I do almost like different angles of certain environments that I have for my story. That way I don't have to keep drawing I guess for like establishing shots in the comic or whatever, I don't have to keep drawing it every time I need an establishing shot of a certain area of my story. I can just use certain images that I've already drawn in the environment itself, so it just saves me a little bit of time. The feeling of redrawing the exact same thing over and over again can make, I don't know, it can get tiresome sometimes, and I want to get into drawing the exciting aspects of the comic rather than drawing the same mundane parts of the artwork over and over again. I don't know, it's fun at times, but then at other times it can seem unnecessarily tedious. So I've started just doing I don't even know what you would want to call it, but just like pre-made establishing shots, I guess would be the best way to put it. I think I've done YouTube videos last year when I first started working on Uppercut. I showed those concept sketches that I did, or at least paintings of 2 environments that I'm going to need heavily in chapter 2, but the angles of them are pretty bad and they're also pretty far away. So I wanted to do, that's for lack of a better term, I wanted to do better ones, but I want to also get them somewhat closer so you could see what was going on. So that's pretty much what you're watching me do right now, is sort of repainting, I guess, an environment that I previously did for Infinite Uppercut. In doing this though, it also got me to thinking, in drawing all this concept art and all these different environmental paintings and stuff, and for both Infinite Uppercut and Shadow Assassins, it got me to thinking back to when I first started working on Shadow Assassins, which was basically when I first started working on webcomics in the first place, around 2014. And it made me think back to when I first started making my comics, and I wanted to sort of make my comic look like it had a certain manga-esque style to it, and how dumb that was of me to do. It's so ridiculous that I was trying to actually create a certain style of how I wanted my I guess, for lack of a better term, I can't even figure out what I'm trying to say here. I wanted my comic to look in a certain kind of way, other than however, I was trying to make it look like a manga style rather than just drawing the comic however I wanted it to look like. And in hindsight, I just think that's insane. I wonder how many other people also pigeonhole themselves that way, to where they try to draw their artwork or draw their manga in a particular style rather than just draw the way that they want to draw, or draw however they draw in the first place. Just doing what they do as opposed to trying to make it look like something else. Hindsight being 2020, it's I know now to just simply draw whatever I'm trying to draw how I want to do it, but it's crazy to think that I was trying to make it look a certain way. I wanted it to look like a certain manga or comic style, and that's so stupid because there's no such thing. I think that's the reason why it's so ridiculous to me, is that there's no such real thing as a manga style or a comic style. You simply draw however you draw, and it's going to come out the way that it comes out. While most manga looks similar, very few mangas look the same unless it's by the same creator. The same artist is going to have his artwork look the same in different manga, but it's not really going to look like anybody else. Hell, Dragon Ball Super isn't being drawn by Akira Toriyama right now, and it kind of shows. It looks similar to Toriyama's artwork, but it doesn't look like it, and that's because it's not, for better or for worse. And that's just so insane that I actually did that myself, or thought that I could do that and draw in a particular type of style when I first made my webcomic. And it's probably that, on top of the fact that my drawing ability went to just garbage at that period in time. but that's probably like the second leading cause as to why my artwork looked all over the place in the first, I'd say, few chapters of my comic when I first started working on Shadow Assassins. And it sort of bled over into when I was working on Afro Brainbuster. And in theory, there is no comic style. Like, the actual mechanics and the technical aspects of making a comic, like choosing what moments to show and what not to show in the comic, how you want to show them, how you want to set up shots and whatnot for your story, like how you lay out your panels, how you like control the reader's eyes they're reading the comic, where to place speech bubbles, where not to place them. Those sort of things are never going to change whether you're making manga or whatever you're doing. But the actual style that you make it should just be whatever you're doing. Like, you shouldn't be trying to force it to be something that it's not, is basically what I guess I'm getting at. But anyways, that was just like a thought that occurred to me as I was sort of drawing this artwork. It's like I'm sitting here now just making whatever the hell it is that I'm making right now, and like 5 years ago I was sitting trying to force myself to draw in a particular way. Like, that's just I don't know, it's just crazy to me. But anyways, I'm done for today. Like I said, this is just some concept art that I'm doing for Infinite Uppercut. Sort of challenging working on 2 comics at the same time, but I'm doing it at my own pace, and I'm also not trying to force anything. So having a lot of fun this time around rather than trying to force myself to like hurry up and get stuff done. Doing it at my own pace is much better. So in any event, I'm done for today. You all have a good one, and I'm out.